Welcome to Spa-Francorchamps for round 2 of the Le Mans Series 2009. Not only is 1,000 kilometers in itself a phenomenal race, but it's also the de facto test for the Le Mans 24 hours itself, because there is no test weekend. Well, after rain on Saturday evening and fog cancelling the morning warm-up on Sunday, by race time, Spa-Francorchamps was baking in the heat of the sun. All the weather forecasts look good, and with the awesome Spa in front of them and 1,000 kilometers of racing, everybody was looking forward to a great race. Let's take a look at the first corner, the hairpin at La Source. This has been part of the old street circuit of Spa. This is all public road down here, plunging down the hill into one of the most daunting corners in motor racing, Eau Rouge. Climbing out blind through the left-hander on the long, very steep, near one-in-one acceleration up the Kemmel Straight, one of the most power-sapping straights in the world. Hard onto the brakes for Les Combes, sweeping right and again climbing up through the left-hand second apex, drifting out to the curbs, quickly over to the left, back to the right. Diving over the brow into the downhill long 180-degree right-hander at Peugeot. And pouring on the power, rushing downhill, unnamed left-hander, very tricky sequence of corners here. The car always trying to push over to the outside of the track. Nick Minassian, your chauffeur here. Down through the double left-hander at Beau Rivage. Lots of runoff area on the outside, but it'll cost you time if you use it. Still going downhill. This is the new part of the circuit, built to join the old part that we left at Peugeot, that went all the way down through the 160-mile-an-hour Master Kink. That's 160 mile an hour in a 1967 Formula One car. To here, Stavelot, the lowest part of the circuit, where we start the long climb back up to the pit area. And from Stavelot, it is foot to the floor all the way here. The long, long left-hander at Blanchimont, 165 miles an hour plus in these cars. And onto the brakes for the bus stop. All the way down through the gears, very tight right-left sequence, and heading towards the start-finish line over the grid, completing a lap at Spa. Well, Peugeot completed their laps at Spa in qualifying quicker than anybody else, and as they headed away, it was an all HDI front row, with the Lola Aston Martin and Oreca the best of the petrol cars, ahead of Jules Bouillon in the Judd-powered Pescarolo. Well, there was drama on the warm-up lap, one car going off, and there was drama at the start as well. Not for the leaders, they made it safely through the bus stop, heading off down to start the 1,000 kilometers in beautiful conditions. But behind them, the field spread out as the pit lane starters, who had failed to qualify for one reason or another, waited their turn. Cars bumping and boring. The 007 Lola Aston Martin of Darren Turner being hit from behind, crawling across the line there, and there was the culprit. The Pescarolo Judd had hit him and in fact punctured Turner's tyre in the very first corner of the 1,000 kilometers. So Nicolas Minassian leading teammate Marc Genet up the hill. Bruno Senna in third place in the red, yellow, blue and white Oreca AIM. Behind him, Marcel Fessler in the speedy Subaru Lola Coupe. And there is the spun car, the signature Oreca Judd, spun on the formation lap on the outside of the circuit, had just managed to creep across to the apex curb at Les Combes, and the safety car was scrambled. Quite why they released the field from behind the safety car in the first place, Lord only knows. Well, at the second attempt of getting the race going, once more Peugeot steaming away. Bruno Senna going with them, flashing the headlights cheekily at the turbo diesels in front. The speedy Subaru Lola Aston Martin, it's Lola Coupe behind, not the Lola Aston Martin. The number 13 car. The Lola Aston Martin Coupe, rather than the ProDrive built Gulf-coloured cars, in a fierce battle for third place. These two the best of the petrol engine cars. Bruno Senna turning down a DTM drive with Mercedes for this limited campaign of Le Mans Series races with the Oreca team, but really producing the goods in this battle with Marcel Fessler. Wheel to wheel into Eau Rouge. Senna thinks better of it, gives Fessler the run down the hill. That Aston Martin engine powering him past Hugues de Schonac's car. De Schonac, the boss of the Oreca team, of course. But one of his cars had started from the pit lane. Senna was soon in trouble as well. A puncture. Shedding the carcass of the tyre on the run back to the pits, making his life and everyone else's even harder. For de Schonac, with one car starting from pit lane and one out of third place, it was looking like a tough race.
It was not caused by contact, something on the... He has just punctures of tire, and so when coming back to the pits, it damaged the body, so we have decided to change also the rear bodywork as it was a safety car.
The safety car was out for that damaged tyre sitting in the road, but the new bodywork was not properly set up. Senna was struggling. They had to change the rear end of the car to keep the legality panel behind the rear wheels on, but it was not properly set up, it would seem, and Senna, once he rejoined the track, would find he was in the hands of a very evil handling car. Meanwhile, once more they get the green, and as the Peugeots race away, trouble at the hairpin. Some of the GT runners have made contact. They're not the only ones. The number 17 Pescarolo is sitting there as well. On board, the 007 Aston Martin gets shunted out of the way by one of the Colles Audis. All sorts of confusion there. So battle on between the two pit lane starters, or our top two pit lane starters, the 007 Lola Aston Martin and Nicolas Lapierre in the number 11 Oreca AIM in front. Jean Charus, Thomas Anger and Stefan Mucker in the Aston. Mucker on board. Look at that V12 grunt hauling him up the hill around the outside of the Oreca car. He has the racing line on the brakes, safely by. Change there for 5th place as trouble once more for Bruno Senna. Car getting away from him. Into the bus stop. Perhaps a little adventurous with the pace. Meanwhile, the battle continues to swap. Stefan Mucker finds himself passed once again by Nicolas Lapierre. Lapierre all over this group of heavy backmarker traffic. 3 different classes in front of them. And a titanic dice between these two sports car aces. LMP2 cars, GT2 cars, and nothing to choose between them. Well, the Aston Martin garage looking pretty happy with the way the cars were running. And still, this battle for 3rd place. Lola Aston with Darren Turner at the helm. After that first corner puncture, fighting his way back towards the top 3, and the speedy Team Sabar Lola Coupe. Lola with huge influence in this year's sports car field. 007 Mucker and 009 Turner pitting at the same time. Sometimes these things can't be helped. It does mean a bit of shuffling about. Number 7 Peugeot leading and starting to open up a gap as well. Pescarolo Judd in 2nd place. The number 15 Colles Audi in 3rd, ahead of the number 9 Peugeot. Battle for the lead in the 1,000 kilometers of Spa, and Henri Pescarolo's team once more in the fray, hunting down the lead Peugeot. Well, in a quite incredible turnaround, Peugeot, of course, enlisting the aid of the chief diesel naysayer, Henri Pescarolo, to run a 4th car at Le Mans, and now his petrol car is hunting down the leader.
We do a double stint with the tire. The first stint is very good. The second stint is a bit more of a handful, you know, especially in the traffic. The grip is not there, so when you go offline, it's a bit more difficult. It was actually really difficult. But, you know, I think we've improved the car because we can do the 2 stints. We've got to just calculate to see if it really is worth it or not.
Especially with new fuel speed of filling regulations coming this year, the diesels will have to think very carefully about how often they're going to be able to change the tyres, and for Peugeot this is vital learning.
It was difficult. I mean, the car balance and grip was not good. We had different strategy to the other car, and I think it didn't work out for us, and it was difficult to keep a good pace. So I just brought the car back home, and hopefully we've changed something on the car now. Should be better now.
But just after his teammate David Brabham took the wheel, he felt a problem in the rear suspension, and 13 minutes were lost fixing it in the pits. Brabham, Genet and Alex Wurtz, the third driver, lost 5 laps to the leader. Meanwhile, trouble for the 007 Aston Martin. Both Lola Astons seem to have had a trouble magnet fitted for the weekend. This seems to have been without anybody else's assistance, but the Lola Astons were certainly a target for other cars to hit. It's that fancy blue and orange paintwork that makes them so attractive to the fans, clearly attractive to their rivals as well. Well, with the Astons struggling a little and one Peugeot dropping way back, Pescarolo with Jean-Christophe Bouillon driving it, holding on to second place. Meanwhile, Stefano Ortelli taking over the helm of the number 10 Oreca machine from Bruno Senna. Ortelli bringing his talents to bear in Hugues de Schonach's lead car. Senna explains his dramas.
In a few occasions, the car was quite tricky to drive. After we did the tire stop, because of the puncture, we made a bad decision with the aerodynamics on the car. So I had 1 hour of really tricky driving. After we put the aerodynamics back where they were, it took me a while to get used to it, and the tire balance wasn't good. Now towards the end, the tire balance was really nice. So I hope Stefan's tires and balance are as good as I finished.
Well, there was drama for Henri Pescarolo, the number 17 Pescarolo Judd. Bruce Giuani having a big accident on the exit of Eau Rouge. Safety car scrambled immediately with debris all over the place. Well, Eau Rouge always a difficult corner, and Giuani lucky to survive that with no injuries. The car, though, very badly damaged. Pescarolo with a lot of work on their hands to get it ready or rebuilt or replaced for the Le Mans 24 Hours. Out front, despite problems for the number 9, sister car number 7, Peugeot, going extremely well indeed. In the LMP2 class, the smaller prototypes, the Essex Porsche RS Spider of Casper Elgaard, Christian Poulsen and Emmanuel Collard battled throughout, with the number 33 Speedy Racing Team Sabar Lola Judd. Speedy with Lolas in both classes. Johnny Kane, Benjamin Leuenberger and Xavi Pompidou were sharing that one, and they battled throughout for the lead. Casper Elgaard and veteran Manu Collard, experienced sports car racers, but for Christian Poulsen, sharing this car with his World Touring Car Championship campaign, a very different kettle of fish from the previous weekend in Marrakesh. Well, there was a very large LMP2 class field, but clearly the class of it was the Porsche, and the Porsche, of course, winning last year's campaign, and the Lola Coupe, the Speedy Sabar team, going really well. Johnny Kane, another sports car veteran with Xavi Pompidou, and Benjamin Leuenberger, ex-single-seater driver as well, fast turning into one of the top tin-top sports car drivers. Problems further back. This car was running at one stage as high as third, battling with the class leaders, but the number 41 Zytek of Carimoge, Claude-Yves Gosselin and Philippe Pater struggled home after this engine problem delayed them. Smokey returned to the pits. In the GT1 category, just 3 cars started. And very quickly, the Jet Alliance Aston Martin dropped out of the battle. It was left then to the Spartak Lamborghini Murcielago of Peter Cox, Philippe Salaquada and Eric Yanis to try and hold off the Alphon Aventure Corvette C6R. Luc Alphon sharing the driving with friend and colleague Patrice Goulart and 25-year-old Yann Clairet. And in the end, it was the Corvette that came out on top again. It's a shame that GT1 seems to be withering on the vine slightly. LMP2 and GT2 both seem to offer a very great deal of customer satisfaction and entertainment. In the GT2 category, this is the JMW Motorsport Ferrari of Bob Bell, last year's champion, and Jimmy Bruni. They battled throughout pretty much with the Felbermeyer Porsche factory drivers Mark Lieb and Richard Lietz joining Horst Felbermeyer Sr. in the team. Felbermeyer nominally in the team at least. The Hankook Farnbacher Ferrari of Alan Simonson and Pierre Caffer went really well. But the Team Modena Ferrari of Jaime Melo, Antonio Garcia and Leo Mansell ended up with the winner's crown at the end. They were not ahead on the road, but following post-race exclusion of the 77 Felbermeyer Porsche, that's Lieb, Lietz and Felbermeyer Sr., our Nigel's young lad got his first sports car win. Stop and go for Alexander Wurz in the number 9 Peugeot. Now this came as quite a surprise to all concerned. It was a 4-minute stop and go, and it was imposed for dangerous driving. This dangerous driving, in fact, in the first hour of the race, clattering rather cavalierly into the Ibanez Racing Courage. Well, it took a long time for the stewards to come up with that decision, but it was a further thorn in the side for the number 9 Peugeot squad. Hugues de Schonach's 2 Oreca cars still running strongly. The number 11 car in second spot, looking unlikely to challenge the lead number 7 Peugeot unless things went very wrong indeed for the French manufacturer. Third place though, and chasing hard, Christophe Tanceau in the number 16 Pescarolo, hunting down compatriot Lapierre, another Frenchman driving another Le Mans-based French car. 2 Lola Astons now 4th and 5th ahead of the Colles Audis, and the LMP2 leading Porsche RS Spyder of Team Essex in 9th position ahead of close rival the Subar racing car. The Corvette leading in GT1 and JMW at this stage on top in the GT2 category. Into the final 2 hours of the 1,000 kilometers of Spa, Christian Bakkerud at the wheel of the number 15 Colles Audi R10 TDI, the old Audi, with a right front puncture, smoking his way back to the pits, and here's why. Clattering into the Nicolas Lapierre, Olivier Panis, number 11 Oreca. Well, the Oreca team lucky to get away without trouble. Bakkerud paying the penalty and not seeing the car coming down the inside. It was pretty much a racing incident, but he wasn't battling them for position. Nicolas Lapierre in second place. Christian Klein at the helm of the lead Peugeot, 28 seconds in front. Lapierre's main problem, not will he catch the Peugeot, but how soon will the chasing Pescarolo in third place catch him? On board with the race leader, still running trouble-free. Peugeot very determined to use this Spa race, if at all possible, to try different things with their 2 cars, work on different tactical approaches, different strategies, different setups. So really a very extended test session, but the overriding priority, not unlike last year, to destroy either car, because the time between now and mid-June very restricted. Secondly, the LMP2 category, Benjamin Leuenberger in the speedy Subar Lola Coupe. And there is the leader, of the category, the Essex Porsche RS Spider. Great battle between the two very different looking prototypes. Kasper Elgaard in the predominantly Danish Essex team. And here is the battle for second place. Fully joined now. Top speeds on the Kemmel Straight, just a smidge under 300 kilometers an hour. Oh, and trouble at Eau Rouge. Trying to lap the WR Cellini. Nicolas Lapierre guesses wrong, thinks he's got room to go by, and they touch. The Pescarolo takes avoiding action and zooms by into second place. And amazingly, Lapierre's car, once his three-pointed turn a couple of times, again escaping any major damage, and he heads off. While slower traffic once more tipping the balance, as so often happens in endurance racing. And carrying on, Pescarolo in second place as Christian Klien winds out the final few laps behind the wheel of the number 7 Peugeot. Nick Minassian and Simon Pagenaud, who's racing in the American Le Mans Series for the Acura team, on loan to Peugeot. But the drama is not over. The WR Cellini again involved in this one, but it's not his problem that's bringing out the safety car. The wreckage in the background is of Bruno Senna's Oreca AIM. The car comprehensively shunted in a massive high-speed moment again at the exit of Blanchimont. Senna is okay. Badly shaken though, his knees have taken a good clattering as the car has beaten itself into pieces against the wall. Well, Cellini picking up a puncture, lots of trouble with debris on the circuit throughout the race. And Senna's car clearly very second-hand. Stefan Ortelli on the right and Hugues de Schoenack on the left, looking very worried.
It's sure not an easy weekend, because in the same time, due to the safety car, we are losing the podium now, just to be in favor of the Lola, and so it's really not an easy weekend. But the main thing is that Bruno has nothing. That is most important, even if the car is probably completely destroyed.
Tough times for Hugues de Schoenack. Not just this race, but Le Mans looming, and he and Henri Pescarolo both with cars to replace. But for Peugeot, it is a well-earned victory. The number 7 car running faultlessly. Question marks over the number 9's problems, though. Those are things they will have to address in the build-up to the middle weekend of June. Second position went to the number 16 at Pescarolo, a charging drive back from particularly Christophe Tanso, who avoided that huge shunt at Eau Rouge. And in third place, the 007 Aston Martin that started from the pit lane. Christian Klien, a very happy winner.
I have to say it was not an easy race. Our pace was really good, but there were a lot of safety car periods, which made it quite difficult for us. So we had always had to try to get a gap again. But you know, the car was really good, and it's nice to be back on the podium, that's for sure.
So Peugeot winning at Le Mans. De Pescarolo in second place, Lola Aston completing the podium ahead of Hugues de Schoenack's remaining Oreca car. And don't forget, Eurosport's extensive live coverage of the 77th Le Mans 24 Hours kicks off on Wednesday evening, the 10th of June. That starts a 42-hour marathon, which will include practice, qualifying, Saturday morning warm-up, and the historic race, and of course, the full 24 hours itself. Join us live from the Circuit de la Sarthe from Wednesday, June the 10th, for this year's Le Mans.